Hi, everyone. Excited to be here today. So we are going to talk about open source AI today, right? When you talk about AI, like there are closed source version and open source version, and both are important in our industry. But especially when we talk about open source AI, what do we think? We think about some kind of AI which is of the people, by the people, and for the people. So it's made by people who believe in open source. They open source it for the rest of the community, and everyone can use it, right? But the problem is that's not happening nowadays. So when we think about the current open source AI landscape, let's look at what's happening. Like, there are lots of great open source models that people can use, but most of these models are actually built by big tech companies. Meta is like one of the biggest. Like, they have the Llama model, which I am sure all of you have used here. Google releases Gemma and a bunch of other models. OpenAI is about to release a really, really great open source model. My friends there told me it's going to drop next week, so we'll see how that looks like. And also DeepSeek. Everyone knows about DeepSeek. Like, it's a very popular model. And all of these companies are not actually, built or consisting of open source builders. They're mostly corporate people. They have like billions of dollars in their bank account and treasury, and they're building these open source models and releasing it for the rest of the ecosystem. So it's not ideal. This is not what we expected when we started this movement of open source AI. So why isn't it happening? There are basically two major barriers on the way of open source AI actually truly being built by the open source community. The first one is monetization. I mean, that's pretty much simple. Like, if you're Google, you have $2 billion at the back of your pocket to build a great, great open source model. You don't really think about, how we are going to make money off of that model. But if you're an open source developer, you don't necessarily have a way to monetize your work, make money off of an open source model, which is just opening it up for everyone. So there's not enough incentives for open source developers to come in and work together to build these massive models. And second is verification. So, like, open source developers can come together and build a model really, collaborative way. But we need a way for them to verify to each other that they're doing what they claimed that they do. It's in general, with any kind of distributed or decentralized systems, you need verification at the core. And it's really hard for the verification in terms of, AI model verification, because it takes a lot of time, it's super slow, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to go that deep into that technically. But these are the top two barriers we have identified, which is standing in the way of open source AI being truly developed by open source developer and community. And that's where we come in. We are Bagel Labs. Why we call ourselves Bagel Labs? Because we love bagels. We're from the East Coast of the US. If you're from there, I hope you love bagels too. But we are based out of San Francisco. So trying to kind of, import some of those bagels from East to West. We'll see how that works. And we love open source AI as much as we love bagels, which is like a lot. That's why we are solving this problem, where we want to make open source AI accessible to everyone, where open source AI models are being actually built by the open source community. We want to enable 1 million or even more open source developers and contributors and enthusiasts to come together and collaborate with each other to build state-of-the-art open source models. And we're solving that problem, the two problems that I mentioned. I'll talk about how we are solving the verification problem for open source AI. Again, like a little bit of history, like open source AI models being created by a lot of contributors together, you need verification. And the verification is very slow. Like, if you use zero knowledge or any kind of other cryptography to verify all of these contributions, it usually takes like hours, if not longer than that. And we found a solution to that problem. This is a research paper we published back in January. And the name of this research paper, we call this ZK LoRa. And what this does is it allows for contribution to open source model in a really, really efficient manner. When I say efficient, it's actually a paradigm shift. It's an order of magnitude, actually multiple orders of magnitude better than the previous solutions that were available. Like back in 2023, some people tried to verify model training with some algorithm, which took a long, long time. And it wasn't practical for production use cases. And then we came out with our solution, which is basically 15 times faster, and probably the only verification mechanism for open source model training that can be used in real time. Practically, that's the only one you can use for actual production use cases. And this is not just me talking about ZK LoRa and sharing that with you guys all. We shared this invention with the mainstream AI community as well, and they are excited about it, just to say the least. Our paper got published at ICML, which is the biggest machine learning conference and one of the hardest conferences to publish your paper to. And they looked at our work and they accepted our paper, and they said that, yeah, this is something we can use for our own use cases. And just to kind of help you guys understand the gravity of it, our paper is the first ever paper published at ICML, which has zero knowledge at the title of it. So that means we're taking ZK and we're taking it to mainstream. You name it, like Jeffrey Hinton, like all of the Nobel Prize winner, Ilya, like all of the big machine learning researchers, they're going to be there and they're going to be seeing and learning about a paper which has zero knowledge at the title of it. I think it's a pretty big deal. We are proud of it, and we are taking the crypto AI ecosystem to the mainstream through this. So what does this mean? Like, what can you do with ZK LoRa, the things that we have developed? You can basically do ZK-verified machine learning training and inference at scale without any overhead in terms of latency, which wasn't possible before, ever. You can also have modularity in AI models, which is an interesting topic. We talk about modularity in Web3 a lot. It's actually being discussed in the mainstream machine learning ecosystem as well, where a lot of small models can come together and collaborate with each other. But whenever we talk about collaboration, you need verification. And that's where you need solutions like ZK LoRa that we developed. And at the end of the day, what that means is we can pool resources of millions of contributors together, and we can allow them to build open source models that are as good, if not better, than the current state-of-the-art open source models. Imagine an open source model built by you, like all of you, coming together, and that model is better than GPT-5, best in the world. How cool that would be. And these are the building blocks you need to be able to make something like that happen. So the second problem I mentioned is the monetization. So I am not going to go too deep into how we are solving monetization, but we are working on a protocol that will solve the monetization problem of open source AI. And together with the verification and monetization, we'll figure out a solution where we will beat Web 2 AI, period. And for the Bagel protocol, we are opening up early access. It's already live, so if any of you are interested, feel free to scan the QR code. And there's a form. It's a very small form. Please join. And again, we want to make sure that we will have the best open source model in the world built by you. And this is how we do it. So thank you.